What's up, family members and victims? Ace right here. In today's video, I kind of want to go over the decline of TCM. It's only been out for a month, but the player count has gotten worse. I feel like the updates haven't been as good, and I just want to go over everything in this video. There is the three things that I want to touch on this video. First thing is kind of like the overall lobby and just how I think it could be improved. Second thing is how gameplay currently is right now, and then I don't think it's that good. And the third thing is the potential microtransactions of skins that are going to cost us up to $16 apparently. On top of the $40 game that we already bought, unless you're on Game Pass, then you got it for $10 a month if you live in the United States, which is still quite a lot. So I just want to go over that in this video. We'll get into the exact Steam charts numbers, but for the first part of this video, we're going to talk about the menu. So right now, the menu, it looks pretty good. The party options, I will touch on it, but they already said that they're going to make improvements to it. I hate how the party system is right now. You gotta create a lobby and just get a code. You gotta give it to your friends. There's no way you need to give this code to your friends if they're on a different console. The only time I hope in this video I'll compare this game to DBD is I think this game needs a system like DBD where you can add friends from different consoles or whatever they're playing from. Have them as a friend. You can invite them to that instead of this stupid code that you have to give them. I think it's awful. They said they're going to make improvements to it, so I'm not going to touch on it. I just hope it gets fixed for better. But another thing for the main menu is when I hit this play button and I want to go, oh, I want to play family, I get into this finding match screen, which I find to be really, really annoying. And I said I wasn't going to pair anything to DVD, but we're still on this topic, kind of, is like DBD, whenever you search for a match, you are still able to go into your characters and just upgrade perks, respec your skill tree, or do whatever. But in this game, you're kind of just stuck in that loading screen, which I find really weird. And then once you're into a lobby, you have to wait 3 minutes for everyone to ready up. I feel like this whole thing needs to be changed to where if I hit, I want to go play family member or victim or whatever, I can still go into my customization and just respec or work on builds or whatever. And then once I'm in the game, the loading time that was 3 minutes, for everyone to ready up, could be shortened down to like 1:30. I think that would be an amazing change because I don't like waiting in the lobby for 3 minutes trying to get everyone to ready up. It's just annoying. And then also, on top of that, you're going to have to try and find a Leatherface, which we'll get into later. It's just a pain. Like, you're going to be waiting in the lobby forever already. It's like, okay. I think the lobbies need to be changed. Let me know what you think about that change. And we'll get on to the gameplay balancing. So I want to start out with this gameplay balance segment. Like, I'm going to break it down into multiple things, but the first thing I want to say is I understand it is pretty much impossible to balance an ASM game, but I feel like the decisions they have made so far up to this point have been poor. The first thing I want to talk about is the gameplay balance, and then we'll get into other decisions they have made, like this poor one to remove crossplay. But first, we're going to go to the gameplay part, game balance, and September 19th, the day that Sissy died. And I say that because she literally became useless this day after her bug got removed. It was a bug, yes, but it made her actually viable because now she has nothing. You could poison an item, that does nothing pretty much. It kind of reveals where they are, but it's a very iffy if they'll even touch that item that you poison. And you're also, unless you're using efficient herbalist, you pretty much maybe wasted a charge on that. And you don't get many charges, especially when like a lot of your mortar and pestles are just far away, like they're just in Narnia. Like you're never gonna go to that area in like a game to game basis. So this is the day that Sissy died. She has no use. She can't really kill anyone now because the bug that helped her get kills is gone. Her power is weak. The only time her power is threatening is if you bring the other perk that slows down victims by 20% when they're in the cloud, or the damaging one, which slowly ticks them down in health. Because other than that, if you don't have those things, I'm going to infinitely loop you. You can just infinitely loop the Sissy and then a lot of places, even if you're poisoned. Unless they have those two things like I mentioned. Sissy's just bad. The upgraded version of Sissy is this hitchhiker. You place a trap at a loop, instantly shuts down. Hitchhiker can place a trap at a fuse box or valve. It's so reliable. It's the game slowdown. It's just like where the game is right now. You just need Cook and Hitchhiker for the slowdown. Sissy has no place. She can't get kills. She can't slow down. She can't chase. She can't do anything. Another thing is Johnny. He got nerfed this recent update. He got nerfed. His lunge was reduced, and his build kind of got changed. Where was it? This should also correct the build we're seeing Johnny using public matches. It's just them saying that he was just swinging around too much, being kind of weird, having big lunges. Just that build that made him good and fun to play as is gone now. So now it's just a Cook and Hitchhiker meta, which I called from pretty much day one or at least week one. I mean, Hitchhiker got a minor change where you can't place the traps at ladder hatches, but that's still fine. That should have been nerfed anyways. It's just Hitchhiker and Cook are the two most consistent people that you can pick. I called it day one. Cook can get value just by sitting at anywhere in the map pretty much. He's a good blood gatherer. He's just good at pretty much everything except chasing. He slows down the game, put the lock on the door, or reveal people, gather blood, feed Grandpa, go to the most annoying place on the map and camp it, like the fuse box on Family House. Camp up there, get more ore reveal, infinitely ore reveal someone. Let your team know where they are. Like, Cook is just so crazy compared to Sissy and Johnny just having pretty much no strength. And then Hitchhiker being a nice second because you can counter the fuse box and water valve, which are the two most painful ones. I guess that's a good transition into the second part of this little segment, is how fuse box and water valve are OP despite the two changes they did in the last two patches. It's just fuse box and water valve are still a problem. Real quick before we switch over, is I just want to mention, like, I think Cook actually needs a nerf on his ore reveal part. There needs to be a drawback on his level 3 ability that currently just... There's no drawback to that level 3 ability that is so overpowered where every family member can see the ore reveal or the survivor you just revealed. I think that needs a nerf. There needs to be like some kind of drain to the ability that increases or the range is reduced, because you shouldn't be able to spam ore reveal first off and then on top of that be completely ore revealed to everyone else without a drawback. So that's my nerf suggestion for Cook. So the issue with the water valve in the fuse box right now is you just leave the basement with a lockpick and you're golden pretty much, because if you leave the basement with a lockpick, you can easily just grab a fuse that is out in the open and unlock the fuse box, do it, yada yada yada. And if he is trapped by a Hitchhiker, if you bring Bomb Squad, which I have builds that incorporate Bomb Squad into a second loadout so you can easily counter him, because in the game lobby for some reason you can tell if it's a Hitchhiker and you just switch to your second loadout and instantly counter him with Bomb Squad. You easily do the fuse box. You can do speed runs on the fuse box. You can get out in within 2 minutes. I mean, granted, people right now are putting a little bit more emphasis on defending it, even though the update just came out where family members can now shut off the fuse box. But I guess we'll talk more about the fuse box. But the fuse box right now, this change on, I think it was September 19th. Yeah, it was. The fuse box will spawn on the side in like the back right of the map. The back right? Yeah, the back right of the map. The basement door is on the bottom left of the map. So you have to run, which on Slaughterhouse, which is pretty big, all the way over to the other door before the door closes or the family member closes the door, which is really hard, because I think it's 30 seconds before the family members can turn off the fuse box, and then you're just stuck in the match. So right now, if you get that terrible spawn on Slaughterhouse, you pretty much let your 3 teammates out and you're stuck in a 1v3 scenario that you pretty much never win. That fuse box is pretty... Like, the issue with the fuse box is the fuse is very, very easy to get. You can pressure it very early. As soon as you open up the fuse box, it cannot be closed. Once you put in the fuse it cannot be undone. family has no way to counter the fuse box other than if it's already turned on, you gotta wait 30 seconds and turn it off and hope no one escapes. Like, that is awful. You need to lock the fuse behind a door that need a lockpick, so it takes them a little extra time to actually get the fuse box going. It's like they don't really understand what is causing the issue here. And then you're having this fuse box that's in a corner of the map that is impossible to get to within 30 seconds unless you have Choose Flight. Choose Flight is OP because it refills your stamina, but even with Choose Flight, I don't think you get there in 30 seconds. So let's move on to the water valve problems. It pretty much has the same problem as Fusebox does, is as soon as you're out of the basement, the water valve handle is pretty much free. Especially if you're on Slaughterhouse, it is very, very free because as soon as you get it, you should just hop back into the basement because all 3 water valve spawns are in the basement. So you have the handle. So pretty much what took you up to that point is 1 lockpick out of the basement, grab 1 handle, you run back into the basement, you put it in, takes you 5 seconds to turn it on, and then you grab 2 bone shards, which are usually spawned near the water valve for some reason. And then they have to send 2 family members down to defend it. But with this update, you can kind of send 1 family member down because of the 10-second stun immunity. I think 10 seconds is a little too long, but you can't take the 10-second stun immunity away unless you nerf the water valve, especially on Slaughterhouse, because it's just so easy to 1v1 a family member down there while your water valve is going. Like, they need to turn it off. It takes like 10 seconds to turn off the water valve, so they need that 10-second immunity to turn it off. Otherwise, you have to send 2 people down there, which is really bad because if you send 2 family members down to the basement, you leave 1 family member upstairs on Slaughterhouse to try to defend 3. It's just an impossible job. So my suggestion is lock the water valve in the fuse box, or the fuse, behind a door that they have to lockpick through and get. And also, with the water valve, I like to see them... Victims can no longer rush the action, where they have to slowly turn it, and if they get pushed off for whatever reason, that progress saves and the family member is able to revert it, or what. It's kind of hard to explain, but I don't think they should be able to rush it, because right now, you could stun a family member and instantly rush the water valve to get it going. It's like, okay, the family member has no way of countering it because you just stun them and you instantly turn it on and it takes them forever to turn it off. It's awful how it works right now. The other changes in this patch were pretty good, other than the stealth thing. Stealth was a very, very useless stat in my opinion because it did one thing that had pretty much no use to it. Stealth only affects the minigame if you make noise. And most people, you probably notice, they don't care about noise. They'll make noise, especially if the game just started out. The only time stealth was useful is if you didn't want your location revealed, like you were upstairs, like trying to grab a lockpick real quick. You don't want to go back down in the basement. You want to grab a lockpick upstairs. You don't want to let them know where you are. That's the only time stealth is ever useful, and it's not every game that comes in useful. Unlike proficiency, that helps you gather that item quicker and lockpicks doors quicker, it's just proficiency was a lot better, and then now, for the stealth change, you can now make noise at full stealth. Like, that stat was already useless, and they just nerfed it again. Crazy. And then, I guess to wrap up this little segment, is the terrible change on September 5th of removing crossplay and then 6-player lobbies, which the game was never balanced around. Awful update, because if we look at the September 5th patch, the day it came out right over here, we had a streak of 10,000 peak players. Then you guys go on to the next couple of days, it just drops down by 30%. It's because there should have been no reason why they took out crossplay. A lot of people just left after they took out crossplay, which is still not back, by the way. Crossplay is still disabled. Terrible, terrible update. Just removing crossplay, 30% players just gone in one day. And then the final thing I just want to close out this video is we have our first skin coming to the game, which is priced at $16. This is going to be probably a pack, which totals up to $16. You have to buy the pack if you want the skin, which comes with the other stuff, so it's increasing the price a little bit. You can't buy these items individually. You have to pay the $16 price tag, which is a little too much, especially when you bought the $40 game. An additional $16 for one skin, it's a little too much. Everyone's in outrage. I can see why. $16 for one skin is ridiculous. So that's all I have for this video, guys. Let me know what you think about everything I covered in the video. We're starting from the lobbies to the balance of the game, with Cook being OP and needing a nerf, and then Sissy and Johnny probably needing a buff, and Fusebox and Water Valve needing a change or a rework. And then the $16 skin. Let me know all your opinions down below. I hope this game does get a little bit of a comeback. This is what I base my whole channel around, and if the game dies, I don't know what I'll do at this point. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more TCM content as long as the game is alive, and peace.